It is 10 o'clock, so I will officially open our Wednesday, November 27th, 2013 meeting. Thanks everyone for coming. I will go ahead and call that to order with item number 2 of approval of agenda.
Move to approve.
I'll second that, Lance.
Move to approve agenda.
Second by Ron. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved. Item 3, approval of minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Moved and second. Any further discussion on minutes? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Item 4, approval of claims for payment.
Move to approve claims for payment.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. What time you got there?
10:01.
10:01. We have a public hearing set for 10:02. If I talk really slow, I think we can get us to 10:02 to open the public hearing. We do have a public hearing slated for 10:02 on the lease agreement with Ziegler Cat for 2 new road graders, a $39,289 for one and $38,869 per year for the other. I will open the floor for anyone in the room that has any questions or comments on that.
Daryl provided copies of the paperwork for these lease agreements to me last week, and I had the opportunity to go through them and then also to meet again with Daryl and a representative of Ziegler Cat as well, who is present today. The one thing that we noticed in regard to the paperwork is that should substitute Hardin County as the party in place of Hardin County engineer, and that would be on each of the documents. The reason for that is there's representations in these documents that one of the parties is a governmental entity. There is also references that one of the parties would have the authority to appropriate funds for the payment of this lease agreement. And provisions such as that, as well as there's provisions in here that the interest paid under such agreement would be tax exempt, since it would be coming from a governmental entity. For all those reasons, I believe that Hardin County itself would be the appropriate party to enter into this lease agreement as opposed to the county engineer. With that amendment, with that change, I did not see any further problems with any of the paperwork or any needs for any further amendments to the paperwork other than basically striking engineer and having Hardin County as a party.
Okay. Thanks, Randy. Anyone else? If not, I will go ahead and close the hearing on comments about the lease agreement, and we will go to item 6 on consideration of the lease agreements with Ziegler Cat that we just had a hearing on above. Daryl, maybe you want to just real quick bring us up to speed again. I think we talked about it once, but kind of why we're here and why we're doing this, and a little bit of update for all of us.
Okay. Looking at the 2-year lease, it's kind of a stopgap situation for the Tier 4 emissions is coming out. So did we want to jump right into Tier 4 and with that technology? We currently don't have any Caterpillar motor graders, and they're a joystick operated machine. And currently we have the John Deere motor graders with the steering wheel and antler setup. Ergonomically, it seems to be a lot better for the operators. So we wanted to give them a try, and I thought a 2-year lease That would give enough time for each of the operators to spend some good quality time with the machine, see if they like it. The difference in the two machines, one has more horsepower. Otherwise, I think everything else is same size engine. And so before making long-term commitments, do we need to go with the more horsepower, or can we get by with less horsepower? And we'll have the information that we'll be able to download off the internet through Caterpillar, so we can evaluate fuel efficiencies and how things are being operated, and
Okay.
just give it a really good 2-year evaluation, and yet still have it in the force and getting the work done.
Okay. Anything else?
Got everything you need with them, right?
Yes,
Your blades,
snow equipment, everything's there. Training, each operator will get some of their, Josh said their training individual actually lives here in Hardin County, and he'd be more than happy to come and help each time that the machine switches to a different operator, so.
Randy, if someone makes a motion on this, do we need to, in the motion, say we would like to change that name in the lease agreement that we have before us?
I believe so. It needs to be picked up at some point with regard to this. I know
Okay.
as part of the paperwork, the original paperwork, there should be 2 resolutions. And actually, I think they'd be referred to as Attachment B. And they're called a governmental entity resolution.
No, I did not.
And the reason why I said there's 2, I think there's 1 for each transaction. And I would say on that resolution, if you would scratch out on 2 places on that resolution, really the very first line, where it says authorized Hardin County engineer, the
Okay.
governmental entity, if you just scratch out engineer, and then actually down below on, it'd be the 3rd paragraph from the end, that
Yep.
starts with some blanks, that says of Hardin County engineer.
Yep.
If you scratch out the word engineer there as well. And I would suggest that perhaps on one of the 3 lines in the middle, I would suggest at the minimum, put in Brian Lauterbach, Chairman, Board of Supervisors. If you would want to put in the full board, there wouldn't be anything wrong with that. What it does would be authorized all 3 of you to sign any documents with respect to this.
Okay.
Okay, but I think you need at least 1 in there. And with that, I think you could go ahead and pass that resolution if there's an appropriate motion and vote. Sign that. Then I would say you could either leave it up to going through the other paperwork and just scratching some engineer. There'd be a number of places that you would have to do that on the existing paperwork. Or I don't know, it probably wouldn't be too tough to have the paperwork modified if wanted to wait, just get it done off of a computer and sign the other paperwork later.
And that'd be fine.
That's possible.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
I had one quick
Sure.
question. It asked about the insurance on there, and I guess I should have got a hold of you. I didn't see that until just now, but I wanted to visit with you. That machine would be covered under our insurance instead of us buying insurance through Caterpillar. So,
Okay.
apologize.
Open the floor for a motion or consideration of this agreement.
I'll so move the changes that Randy stated in scratching engineer from that page and adding signature of Brian Lauterbach, chairperson, on that page. And to approve the consideration of the lease agreement with Ziegler Cat,
on
doer.
both, or
Do you have
On-
separate resolutions to adopt for each lease agreement?
Each one has a separate
Right.
resolution.
So you're adopting the resolution.
So we'll be adopting the resolution for the Caterpillar 104 M2 all-wheel drive for $39,289.06 per year, and the Caterpillar 12 M2 all-wheel drive $38,869.91 per year.
That should be a cap 140.
140.
All right.
Nancy, is it okay if we're doing both together like that?
You have separate resolutions, don't you, for each one?
Yes.
Please, I'd do them separately.
Do it
please.
separately.
Do-
So let's,
Do the 140 first.
we'll do the 140 first that Ron has brought up. I need a second on that one.
Second.
Is there any further discussion on that 140?
I would just like to, basically in regard to making a record, if possible, if we could link up a transaction number with the vehicle, if that would be possible. And the reason I'm saying that, gentlemen, is I believe if you look at the actual resolution,
Yeah,
they're going to have a transaction number.
okay.
So you want,
So
Is that the number for
This
the
is a 140,
this is
yeah.
the 140. So our transaction number would be 214-8358.
6. 214.
no, you got the other one.
You got the
Oh,
other
I got
one.
You
the
got
other
the
one.
12.
Okay.
This is the 140. Right? Just about had to put my glasses on for that one.
Do you
Right
want,
or wrong?
do you want that amended into it or just,
No, it's part of the resolution.
Part of the resolution, yep.
okay.
No further discussion? Roll call vote?
Ron,
Aye.
Lance.
Aye.
Brian.
Aye. That motion carries. On to the next one, which is transaction number 214-8356. I need a motion on that one.
Move to approve the resolution of the M12 all-wheel drive with the additions that Randy had talked about, and having Brian as the chair sign, and with the striking of the engineer and all the wording. With the transaction number 2148356.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ron. Any further discussion? If not, that would also be a roll call vote.
Lance.
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
Brian.
Aye. That motion carries. Looks like we have 2 road graders to get ready. And did you find the plows and everything for them?
We've got some of the stuff now.
Okay.
Hopefully fill it. We've got some inventory that we might be able to swap around.
All right, great.
Well, we've got snow, so.
What's the time, what's
That's all
the
we
time
get.
frame on getting them here?
The 140 is going to be a little quicker. It should be towards the end of December. The 12 might push us into the first part of next year, like second, third week of January or something along those lines.
It's getting kind of late.
Yeah, it got moved and got bumped a little bit, but there's also an option too that I might have one sooner if I can pull it from another deal. So I'm waiting to find out about that.
Okay.
So you should be able to pull it here within the hour.
Within the hour,
Get out there and get on the phone.
I'll get them loaded up right now.
How much pull you have in Story County? How about that?
All right. Thank you. Item 6, consideration, item 7, no. Family farm credit applications that we had up there on our table.
Do you need them?
No, we take them all at once. We don't do them individually.
Okay.
And I've looked
I
through
just
them.
meant I'd go get them.
No, no, I didn't see anything in there that I wanted to take one out. I don't know unless one of
No.
you
Nope.
saw one. Okay.
I'll
So
make a
we-
motion to approve the family farm credit applications.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Set date to receive applications for appointment to county boards and commissions.
Move to set the date of December 18th by 10 a.m.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we do September 18th for applications. Nancy, will that be up on our internet?
It
As
will
far-
be,
okay.
yes, it'll go out today and
So-
I'll have Micah post it.
Okay, so people could go to our internet site to see what applications
Right,
and
get the
boards,
ad.
and
Mhm.
we encourage anyone that has a desire to take a look at that and apply. It's nice to see people involved. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Our next item of business is zoning board mileage reimbursement. Don's not here right now, but he had wanted to know for his board, that his zoning board that gets together, if they could be reimbursed their mileage. And so he put this on our agenda to take a look at. Most county employees right now do get mileage, but not boards. I don't know of any boards right now in the counties that do get mileage. And so I don't know if we would set precedents by starting this with one board and not the others.
I don't know. What do you think, Randy?
Are you going to set a precedent if you did? Yeah. Would it be binding? Maybe not. I don't know that it would be binding on every single board with respect to it. One thing, take a look with respect to it, and I don't know how you view that. There would be a couple different views, and I might be stepping on toes. Do any of you receive mileage reimbursement to come in and do your job on the Board of Supervisors?
We can take it if we
We
choose
can.
to, yes.
Okay. Now, normally, what you're looking at under just tax, on tax laws, the commute to come in and do your job isn't necessarily a business expense, okay?
Mhm.
That type of mileage is not. That doesn't mean an employer could not reimburse it, but just from the tax laws, it would not be an expense, okay, with respect to that, the commute to and from work. That's kind of what I'm picking up, here in regard to the zoning board. It doesn't sound like they're talking about expense of going out and driving around and looking at a particular property, which at least, if you were talking from an IRS tax perspective, would be different than the just coming in to meet, okay?
Mhm.
I don't know if that's any distinction, that could be made or not, with respect to it. At the risk of muddying waters even more, I'm just going to throw out another piece of information. You would take a look, I'm not saying a zoning board is a charitable organization. I'm not saying that. But I am going to say mileage to attend boards, which would be that type, that would be tax deductible, as well. That's just some information to take into consideration. Going back to the original, question in regard to precedent. Yeah, anytime you do something for the first time, you are going to set a precedent. I don't think that would necessarily be binding on this board and mean that you would have to approve mileage for every single board, basically, that's meeting.
Okay. I know we have a lot of boards, a lot of commissions in the county, and we ask a lot of people in the county because most of those are served without pay. And I know I believe, I don't want to put words in Don's mouth, but I think he was having trouble getting people to his meeting, so I think maybe he was trying to dangle a carrot out there a little bit to try and help him get there. I think another option also with some of these boards could be held over the phone a little bit with technology and everything. Maybe we could do a little bit more with that, but
Is it, the zoning board is paid per meeting, aren't they, at least, or not?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I know of.
No?
I think that they are, because his board that he's put in claims for before that have come through.
okay.
Oh.
He didn't mention that to me when we were
Oh, you know
having a
what?
meeting.
Actually, I need to take that back because he's never done zoning before, right?
Right.
This is his, yes, no, I'm sorry. The ones that he was putting in for were the adjustment.
Okay.
I apologize.
Yeah. He didn't mention that to me, that they were paid, so I'm assuming that they weren't. Otherwise, I think you'd be asking me to raise their pay. So that's where we're sitting with this right now.
Well, from my thought is I'd like more information I'm not ready to give the mileage at this point. I'd move to table it and look at more options, and one, I want Dawn here, so I'm just gonna move to table this till another date.
I'll second that.
So moved and seconded that we table this until a later date. Any further discussion on that? If not, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That motion carries. Next week, I will not be here, so I had Nancy just put on change regular meeting date. We would have that option not to have it. It doesn't sound like we have anything too wild going on, but there's some bills and stuff that would be nice to be paid, so I think maybe just keeping the date, as long as you two both can be here. Okay, so we will not do anything with item 10. Change of status in the Conservation Department. We have a change of status. The Conservation Board met the other night. They went into closed session and discussed some things. When they came back out, they came up with a motion to, let me read it here. The Conservation Board has approved a salary increase for Director of Conservation effective 1/1/2014. This is mainly in part because of the addition of another department under his direct supervision without an increase in pay. It was approved that no additional pay increase will occur on 7/1/2014. So what they're saying is that they want to give him a bump up in pay right now. When pay raises come due next July, there would be no pay raise for him at that time. Our power over this board as supervisors is, I guess, just give it its blessing, because we really don't have any power to deny this. Our power as a board, as I understand it right now, would be in the budget year of next year. If you don't agree with that, you could deduct that much wage out of the budget. If you do agree with it, then that's fine. But as far as when another board comes to us, we basically just give it our blessing. So we did give Wes the IRVM program, so he is watching over that program. And it's about a $5,000 pay increase for that program, or that they've elected to give him. So that's kind of all the information I know on it. I don't know if you two have any other information on that. So with that, I will open the floor for a motion on it.
I'll make a motion for the employee change of status for Wes Weiss, salary increase to $53,000 per year, starting January of 14, and no pay increase for the fiscal year starting July 1st, 2014.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on that?
This does have to come out of their budgeted year, and that's their budget to maintain, not ours.
Correct.
How did the, I'm kind of curious, since it's a board we didn't sit in, I'm kind of curious how if their board was unanimous on that or not.
I don't know
Are you asking?
how the vote went.
I did not participate in the vote. I abstained. But recalling what I do, I believe that the vote itself was unanimous
Okay.
of those that were voting.
Okay. It is the hard part of being supervisors. We have these boards out there that are in charge of people, and they look at their budget and then determine how much is given to their individuals, and we're in charge of the overall picture. And it takes good communication, I guess, let's put it that way, to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So it is, like Lance has said, they must feel they have it in their budget this year to bump it up right now, that they can do that. So So this is not a budget amendment or anything that they're asking for. Any other comments or questions on it? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Item 12, Recorder's Monthly Report in front of us.
Move to approve the Recorder's Monthly Report of October.
Second.
Moved and second. Any further discussion on that report? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have ineligible homestead and military credits to be disallowed for 2014, payable 2015 and 16.
I'll make a motion to approve the ineligible homestead and military credits to be disallowed for 2014, payable 15-16.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on that? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. We need to reset date for public hearing on a budget amendment for FY 2013 and 14.
Originally, you set the date for the 18th, and I have a 10 and 20 publication deadline to make, and we only publish, the Ackley World Journal only publishes their paper one day a week, and with everything else that we had going on, I didn't get the budget amendment sent to them by their deadline, so I have to change it. But we can change the date to a non-Wednesday meeting date, and you can still have it that week. It just postpones it by 2 days.
The 20th would be
So the
fine.
20th would work. It's just a matter of setting a time that works for two of you to come in.
Okay. So December 20th is as soon as we can do it.
So we can come in with our funny-looking sweaters.
That is the morning of our county
Mhm.
Christmas party.
Yeah, you can have the hearing out there.
Or not.
I will move to set the date December 20th at 9:30 in the conference room.
Aw.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Time and date is set. Attire is already set too.
I
so.
do want to interject though real quick. Do we have elected officials invited to come after the breakfast?
They were supposed to be called and come for the breakfast, and then they can stay after and visit with people.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that didn't
Yeah.
interfere.
And we can leave to do our little thing
Okay.
too. So it won't take long with the hearing.
Okay.
So because that'll go on out there with the elected
Okay.
officials, we'll keep them out there if
Okay.
they come. Good point. Change of status for Secondary Roads Department. Daryl?
Yes, we have a new hire under the recommendation of Terry and Greg.
Okay.
Full-time starting at Hubbard.
I'll make a motion, change the status of Steve Schnormeyer, correct?
Oh, okay, yeah, that.
Yeah, that has to be done
He quit,
first.
I'm sorry, yeah.
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 And Hardin County Engineer, machine operator, he's resigning 11/12/13. And should we?
And we'll do that. Is there a second on that?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. And then for the hire.
And then the hiring of Scott Hackney, Hardin County Engineer Office, machine operator. And this is a hire, starting 12/2/2013.
Is there a second on that? I will second that. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Aye.
Motion carries. That handles that. Utility permits and secondary roads.
With the Steve Schnormeyer, his resignation, but visiting with him, His reason was it was a situation with family and farming, and there was a death in the family, and now his responsibilities are greater sooner
Sure.
than he expected. But he would like to still come back and, with his experience with snow removal or, the part-time work, so.
Oh, okay.
It was a tough decision for him, it really was. He really liked it here, but the decision was kind of pushed and made for him, and, but we'd like to have him come back part-time.
So it doesn't hurt to have guys out there with knowledge of
That's right.
things going on that you can just call up and
Yep. Yes.
have come help.
But there'll be questions in the future about that part-time status that I'll bring up with
Okay.
Jessica and stuff. But, no utility permits. We've got the wings and the calcium tanks on. We're full ready for winter. So, still haven't got the brush cutter back yet, but it's in the shop.
How are they coming on that, the plumbing?
I believe a couple of our employees had a few choice words with the representative from John Deere here recently that visited. So I believe they're coming right along now.
Good choice of words then.
I was out there yesterday and walked through the buildings, and the fleet is ready to go. We're all just sitting there, and they have been out just a little bit and noticed the sand sheds, already got sand out of it, and it,
Been on a couple of times.
yeah. Good. Anything else?
No, I think that's about it, isn't it, there?
Any other business?
I do have a handwritten, if you could address. I would have given it to you upstairs, but Lucas is here waiting, so I'll pass it down.
What do we got?
We have a trail grooming device. Trail grooming motor. We have a trail groomer that we want to try to use in some of our trails that we have opened up for winter use. We have cross-country skis available at Calkins, but the biggest complaint that we get is that we don't have a trail where everybody doesn't just sink into the snow
snowmobile,
on those
man.
cross-country skis. So we got a trail groomer made basically from an old wheelbarrow wagon, some thick plastic we bolted onto the bottom, with carriage bolts, and made a few weight racks inside of it so you can put more or less weight on depending on the snowpack and hold that behind the snowmobile. After combing for the best possible snowmobile, we kind of narrowed our focus on exactly what model, make of snowmobile we were going for, one that would suit our needs and help us out, and we think that one within our price range was going to do well. We were approved for $2,000 for the county budget to buy that piece of equipment, and it's kind of our trial run at this before we make our next step if we would get a new trail groomer years down the road after this equipment starts to wear out, but just to get us acclimated with the least amount of cost possible to figure out this game on the first run, and in the future we can be more educated and spend our money a little bit more wisely. So like I said, it's kind of a trial run. So that's actually what I'm gonna run up today and go purchase pending that check.
We have, you can get skis at Calkins campus, right? Cross-country
Yep.
skis?
Yep, we
You
were
go
on
out-
Mount.
Right.
That was the biggest complaint last year, that the trails just, the skis just sunk in the snow. You were up to your mid-shin in snow, so that trail groomer, what you could haul behind that would pack that down in these little runs where you could ski in really easily.
So my question for Wes is, you just make one trail, right? One. So what happens when people are coming together? It's like two trains coming at each other.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
I've never crossed.
Signage, the
have
correct
you-
signage.
Have you
One
cross-country
way.
skied?
One way.
I'll be honest,
Have
I'm
you
not a
tried
big
it?
fan of cross-country
I've-
skiing myself, but since we got them and we rent them out, and the people who do like it are real avid at it, but if you're not strapping skis to my feet down a hill and have a cart to raise me back to the top of the hill, I'm not doing it.
I've done that skiing, but I've not done
I've done the
cross-country.
other.
I've done cross-country once, I took them off and I carried them.
Really?
Yeah. and walked faster than my parents who were still trying to ski.
Some people love
I
it.
was tired of it.
Yeah.
How many people do you get doing the cross-country skiing?
In a year, last year coming out to Calkins to rent, probably had around 40 people coming out, and that's probably our biggest attraction in the wintertime. Sometimes we go weeks without seeing people out at Calkins, so especially when we get this, that's our other campaign that we're going to be putting out, advertisements. One, that we have groomed trails, and two, that we have skis for rent. I think that was one thing last year that people would have came out a lot more if we would have advertised it better.
Okay.
So since we were just starting at Calkins last year, that was kind of our learning curve. One mistake that we'd like to fix from last year.
Now you're gonna do this other places besides Calkins?
Yep, we're talking about going the headquarters trail over by Ackley, by the headquarters office for conservation. They got that pretty well opened up all the way around where you can make a loop around from the headquarters office building down and around. There's quite a bit of timber in there. We've also talked about doing the Hubbard Trail, the one right across from the pond there.
Sure.
That one's pretty good. It'd be a really awesome beginner's trail because out of Calkins, you go down these great big slopes and then you got a bunch of flats and then you got a hill to come to. That Hubbard Trail is just flat as a board.
How many
Work
skis
out
do you
really
have to rent?
If all 40 came at once, I think we could get them all on skis.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, we got
Provided they have the right
4 or 5 racks.
sizes.
Sizes is the big thing. We're always combing through like Play It Again Sports. I'm
Oh, yeah.
originally from Cedar Rapids. When I go back, I usually look for shoes because they're always wearing out.
Okay.
We have a lot of used shoes, is what we're using right now. And I go back and I try to check to see what they have. So try to do it as cost efficient as possible. But really beyond that, for our winter attractions, I mean, we got our Christmas program coming up here December the 8th, and after that there's like a dry period between that and our summer day camps when school just gets out. There's about 4 months. That's just, last year we did our building improvements over that time.
You know, on the internet, I watched the guy climb the tower last week. I was just kind of sitting there thinking maybe we could have the county employees all go out and take turns on skis and videotape that, right, Daryl? And
James?
James?
Can you set that up for yourself?
This is recorded harassment.
I think all of us. I said everyone.
You need that water ski rope.
Funny some video.
You need the water ski rope and hook that to the back of the
Is it
snowmobile, and then we'll put Daryl.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that as hard as downhill skiing, or is it just a lot of work?
it's just a lot of work.
Okay. I will probably come out and try it, because I've always wanted to, but I've just, to go buy the stuff, I didn't know we rented it either.
No,
So,
yeah, we ran it, so
Yeah.
that's one thing we're trying to get on. Like I said, that campaign.
I've always wanted to try
advertising
it.
out. People just don't know.
I'll probably only go 100 yards and then take them off, but at
That's
least I'll
right.
try.
Stay up in the prairie the first time you do it.
There you go.
Don't go down the hill.
Well, first time I went regular skiing was disaster, so,
Found a tree.
yeah, parked car, but.
Parked car. That does it too.
Yeah, but once you catch on, it's a lot of fun, so. All right, I guess we got a little sidetracked, but it's interesting. It's interesting, something new for the county, and it's nice at Calkins campus, and those guys are really trying to, make that an attraction out there. And
Year round.
yeah,
That's the big
and
thing.
in Iowa, we all get locked in our houses with the TV, and we just don't come out because we don't think there's anything to do, but we
Yeah.
do have things going on, so that's good to see. But to the point at hand, we do have to make that happen, sounds like they need a snowmobile, then to pull their homemade groomer. So I guess open the floor for more discussion or a motion on that.
I think I'll pass on the below zero wind chill before I try, but I'll make a motion to purchase the 2000 Polaris ND 550 Super Sport.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we go ahead and purchase the snowmobile for $1,700. Anything else on that? If not, all those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else in the room? If not, a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Ron. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Motion carries. Thanks everyone for coming. Good luck with the snowmobile.
Thanks.